Peace, everyone out there in the ethos, all my people celebrating what we supposed to celebrate, being great, because our history is live 365. Welcome to the Real HD Show. That's right. This is the show where we show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of our folks, but we do it and we heal it with freedom music. Freedom music happens 7:30 to 8 o'clock on these airwaves. You click the or hit the or punch in the call letters below, put them up above in your address bar. You come with me backstage, and we rock out to all that motivational, sensational, motivational, inspirational, hip hop, jazz, R&B, all the melanated types of music. We might even play some rumba out this piece. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into it like we supposed to do it. We are the Real HD Show. I'm your host, Vic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please make sure that you spread the word that we are on. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Turn on all your notifications so that every time we're on the air and we are doing the Real HD Show, you can tap in with us and have a higher discussion. Total Package Energy, that's our sponsor. Waters, gels, teas, liquids, everything to give you the need for speed. That's right. Take away that 3 to 5 o'clock crash because some of us have a second half to our day. Um, Also, make sure you check out Redeem Vacations. Bring 5 people to the show, courtesy of yourself, and get a 3 day, 4 day, 3 night stay at Redeem Vacation near you. Also, we still have our fundraiser going for our patrons on the Real HD Show. We were raising funds for Sister Aurora and her, unfortunate happening. Um, Please give to the show. And by virtue of giving to the show, you give to her, or you can give to the show and put it in the comments. Give to her. That's right. Cash App $ the Real HD Show $ the Real HD Show. Because all of us know we want that TLC if and when something pops off in our neighborhood that we need help with. From the community, from our friends, from our family. We're gonna want that TLC just like we have to be prepared to give it. So uh we're gonna keep it moving and we're going to talk about our upcoming shows. So the Real HD TV network, right? We're about to go private. And within the year, I've said that in times past, but within a year, we're probably going to go private within the year. That means you'll find us on like an Amazon exchange, like on a TV app. We'll be proud to do that because then we'll have our own shop. And what we will be doing with the Real HD Show is probably just putting it in advertisements on social media. It probably You'll get like a snippet that goes to social media, but you won't get the full length show. Um, so y'all look out for that, and y'all look out for the show because we're bringing it to you the only way we know, and we want to tell you about some of the up and coming shows. So the Real HD Show is always adding shows. So if you want to add a show or you're thinking about a show and you don't know how to do it, please contact the Real HD Show at vic7@gmx.com, vic7@gmx.com, and we can powwow about it. We can have a meeting, set up an appointment, talk that ish to get us through, and we can set you up with your own show. But we want you guys to support the Real HD shows that are gonna be out this week. And we got 4 goodies for you. So today, there's our video on demand show, our past, present, and future done our way. Pop out, show out, and send them in. Celebration of your cultural videos, right? Not the fact that we are ending Black History within the month, but this is just the tip of the iceberg on the Real HD show because our melanin is always live 3 65. But we also want to celebrate some shows coming up. So Friday, Broadcast Beats is back, y'all. That's right, our hip hop show, Broadcast Beats, one of a kind producer show, is back. We got the fellas back in here with some new folks. We got some guests lined up for you. The Dirty Clean Village will be there to celebrate all things music production, all things hip hop, all things right and exact when it comes to music, recordings, and productions. You never know who's going to fall through. We might have a live freestyle. We might have a live performance. We might have a video, but we're certainly going to have an artist of the week. We're going to have an in the street segment where we get to chop it up. And we will have producer playbook. So please tune in for that this Friday, the 28th at 7 o'clock. You'll be on time for that, right? So we're moving. And also, moving on the Real HD show is this Saturday. That's right, this Saturday, the Overcoming Book Discussion Series. That's right, Glows Forever is on it. Shaquana Diver, she is there to walk you through in her unique and really holistic and healthy way as a host, walking you through the dynamics of Michelle Obama's workbook, Overcoming. And you don't want to miss that because it's that shadow work, it's that healing work, it's that get down and reflect yourself in the mirror type of work. That's right, this Saturday, March 1st, 11 a.m. on the Real HD TV network. That means all your social media platforms, and then the replays will be everywhere and on Fanbase. Then Sunday, that's right, it's game time. Like Swiss Beats say, game time. That's right. In the bonus hoop show is having our second installment of game time. That's right. We're doing an NBA draft of all the active players in the NBA currently for cash and prizes, bragging rights and fun. We want y'all to come through. That's right. We did all of the old heads at first. We had it wide open, and now we're doing the younger heads. And Godspeed, my brother, my partner on the show is going to tap in. Peace, bro. Talk to us about game time Sunday night on in the bonus hoop show. Talk to us about that, bro.
Man. Oh man, it's gonna be big fun, man. Big fun. You pretty much putting together your own team under certain rules that we have. Certain stipulations. It changes up every time we do a game time. There's gonna be different stipulations. Keeps it interesting, and people win prizes. People get to vote for whose team is the most well put together team, and there can be prizes won by the participants. And I mean, it's just a great game, and it's also educational because along those lines you might get into scenarios where we might pull up older players from the past to be part of our team, and now you get a short history on that individual, and you may have never even seen their footage on YouTube or heard their name before, and then you get to see where some of these younger players get some of their juice from, some of their style from, you know so it's just a great game all around. It's just a great game.
Absolutely, man. And you support the channel by getting
Yep,
involved. It's
that's
a hoop
right.
show for hoop heads,
That's right.
and we just decided to do something just a little bit unique. We're not trying to be Stephen A, and we're not
That's right.
trying to be them other bums on Fox running a jip all the time. We do run our jip, but we trying to do it unique. So we trying to
Yes.
create a little game show piece within there, within the frame of it all. This is our second one. Avery Heroic Collier is going to come back and defend his crown because he won the very first game time
Yes, he did.
NBA draft, contest, and now he's gonna come back and defend his crown. Anybody that's a hoop head could come through. The style is just like an NBA draft. We're gonna have some laughs, some fun. You're gonna test your NBA skills and knowledge, and we just gonna do it up, man. So if you're looking for fun, music, good times, laughs, tune in to In the Bonus Hoop Show.
That's right.
Peace, peace, bro. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Just had a busy day, but I
Yes,
say
sir. Same here.
Say, man, my co-pilot's on here. Let me tap in for a little bit and participate. You know.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. So I just had to inform the people of all of our shows. So we got tonight's video on demand show for the focus of our history month, right?
Hmm.
Notice how I flipped that. I know you like that, right? Then we got
Hmm.
broadcast beats coming on this
Ah,
Friday, 7 p.m. The
we
fellas are
both do.
back at it. You know what I'm
Nice,
saying? One of a kind producer show. Then this
nice.
Saturday you will have the Overcoming Book Discussion Club and
Yeah,
series hosted by
nice.
Glows Forever. She gonna do it big with the wellness and the wholeness and all of
Do me a
that.
favor. Send me the
And then
link for
Sunday
that.
night it'll be game time.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so we here, man. We doing it. We doing it. We doing it. So I'm glad you came on, bro, because I want to talk about this right here.
Hmm.
Nickajack. I didn't get to
Ah,
go over that last time. It was something I was supposed to do, but I didn't go over that last time. So Nickajack was part of the Chickamauga Confederacy, which is an area of Tennessee,
hmm.
and it included African Americans who were mixed with natives who fled from bondage and joined the Chickamauga, Cherokee, and other tribes during the Revolutionary War. The
Hmm.
Chickamauga Confederacy was a diverse group that included Cherokee, Creeks, dissatisfied Anglos, and melanated folks that were here. The
Hmm.
Chickamauga Confederacy fought against the white settlement in Tennessee for almost 20 years.
Wow.
Dragging Canoe, a Chickamauga leader, led the
Okay.
attacks on a white settlement in the American East. Now, a lot of people think that Nickajack, that was his original name because he
Hmm.
was mixed with Chickamauga, right? And the Chickamauga Confederacy was at war with the frontiersmen until
Hmm.
1794. A lot of people didn't know that. The Chickamauga Confederacy included black people who ran away from bondage.
Hmm.
So Chickamauga and Chattanooga Military Park. This park includes Moccasin Bend, where a lot of the folks who that were in bondage moved across the peninsula before the Civil War. Some of them were forced south on the slave trade, and others escaped using the Underground Railroad. Now, historic Nickajack Cave partially flooded by folks during that time period using dynamite and other lethal methods because they were looking for Nickajack. Nickajack, not with the G, but with the CK, is the way they put it,
Okay.
is considered to be one of the biological most important caves in Tennessee, primarily because of the bat guano. That's right, it was used for explosives, right?
Hmm.
Gray bats inhabited this from late spring to early October, with peak numbers in June. And the gray bat, medium sized, short speared species, is one of over a dozen in Tennessee listed as federally endangered species. And in a minute, you're going to find out why. Because some of their excrement could be used for guano, which was like almost like when you dry it, it could almost be like a gunpowder, right?
Hmm.
You familiar with the story at all, bro?
No, this is brand new to me.
Yeah, man. So it says Nickajack was in eastern Tennessee and northeastern Alabama. Nickajack is a corruption of the Cherokee word Anakusanti,
Hmm.
which translates to Coosa Town or the Coosa people, but more likely references to Coosa Kuasata. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing it.
Hmm.
Coasati Town. All right. So I'm gonna
Okay.
read this right here up top, why it's important, and then we'll show you some stuff. It says the white man and wanted in so he originally, I don't know if y'all remember this show. If you go back further enough, it was this thing with Jim Brown, and he had a guy that he was chained to. Um, he was handcuffed, and a lot of people make like reference to this thing, and it was like a
Hmm.
black exploitation film. Well, him and the guy escaped from prison, and then they had to run around the South with people chasing them. Because the two of them were handcuffed together. I don't know if that rings a bell for anyone listening, but y'all could check that out. I forget the name of it, but Nickajack and this one guy uh, was running around the Tennessee Bluff. Um,
Well, you talking about Fled?
huh?
Fled?
Yeah, maybe. It was it was a get the name of the thing, but it was a black exploitation film, and the
Was a
two
black
prisoners,
exploitation film.
Jim
Okay,
Brown
now.
and the white guy, were handcuffed together, and they
Oh, okay.
escaped from a
Yeah, yeah,
prison.
yeah. So you know what? Fled was like the remix of it. Fled
Maybe,
with
maybe.
Lawrence Fishburne and Baldwin.
Yep, 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 yep.
That was the remix.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So let me finish running this down. And shout out to Crumb TV, man. Crumb TV brought this out, and I pieced it together real quick to show the family a lot of this for our History Month. And a free brother by the name of Jack Cavill, which they think that was supposed to be Nick Jack's name, was wounded, captured, and carried a prisoner to one of the Chickamauga towns near Chattanooga. Afterwards, he became a notorious member of a thieving band. See the damaging press control they do. It couldn't just be a
Mm-hmm.
crew of brothers kicking ass. They were a thieving band of marauders, right?
Yeah, that's what
That's
that is.
interesting, right?
Yep.
Right? You fighting someone and they a thieving band of marauders, right? Who
Yep.
headquarters was in that region, who wrought havoc on settlements in the rest of the mountains. The village of Nickajack and Nickajack's town was afterwards founded and took the name from this captive. And the reason why they did that was because he had to come back and help them fight off the during the Revolutionary War. He had to come off and help them fight off the British at
Mm-hmm.
after being one of their initial enemies. And if you think I'm joking, hold on, let me put this up real quick, and I will show you. And also, this also extended all the way to the Gullah Geechee territory of
Mm-hmm.
the Carolinas. So we're talking about Tennessee, way on out into the Carolinas. So I'm just gonna pull up Nick Jack, and then you guys will be able to see all of the evidence of the town and the personage of this really dope brother and some of the
Yeah.
things that he was able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope you guys can see this. Give me a second to get that other one off. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen and show you what I'm looking at. And I'm not even on a website, folks. I'm on just a search. So that's Nickajack Cave right there. Nickajack Dam, Nickajack Bay,
Mm.
Nickajack Lake,
Wow.
Nickajack Cave. And the reason why they call it the miracle at Nickajack, and somebody could come on here if they from the North Carolina areas and chop it up with me, is because um, when Nickajack was running from the Revolutionary armies, because at first, like I told you, he was kicking ass and taking names at first. He
Mm-hmm.
hid in that cave.
Mm.
He hid amongst the bats,
Wow.
and then when he came out, he was able to have a unique way of using the guano that he found in the cave to be dynamic with the weapon, with the gun. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then he gave folks a resource to have an unlimited amount of guano and weaponry, or at least militia resource for their war purposes. So he became a local hero. Not to mention, the man was like another Robert Smalls. He was nice with his hands. He's
Mm.
running around with his own crew, kicking ass and taking names. And they revered him so much that they named this entire territory after him. And then I'll show you. Here's a map of him. If you can see that,
He's the
can you see
original.
that on the screen?
He's the original Batman.
Yeah, yeah. Some people think there's a rumor. I'm not gonna say this is true. Um, there's a rumor that Nickajack possibly could have been
The
how
inspiration.
they got the Batman thing, the
Mm.
Batman theme going, because he lived in a cave amongst bats. And that wasn't heard of. That was unheard of back then.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna stop sharing that right quick and come on back to you. Um,
Now you think about it, Bass Reeves inspired the Lone Ranger.
yeah,
They could
uh-huh.
inspire
A lot of stories. A lot of stories. You
the
know what's
Batman.
ill, bro? Ever since I looked up that Texas Chainsaw Massacre piece and how it had to do with that German family that got the land grant that came here and became that uh family that was the homicidal family.
Yeah,
I started
yeah.
finding out that a lot of the um history and lore of a lot of the things that they put in pop culture were on the heels of a lot of our people's travails and experiences.
Hmm.
Just from a They just created into like a fantasy story. They just created a mythos for it. So I'm not sure if the Batman piece was inspired by this, but it's really
Hmm.
interesting that you're gonna make a pop sensation, a pop culture icon out of a dude who lives in a cave with bats and them coming out with
For real.
these super duper skills to win a war.
And that's another thing. The super duper skills,
you
and it's
know,
the
you know what
time.
I'm saying? You coming out with super duper ways to use weapons, right? Isn't that
Hmm.
Batman's MO?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That bat
Hmm.
guano helped them out tremendously
Yeah, and look at
in
people.
in,
Look
in,
at
in
Cal. Look at
fighting and getting their guns off.
yeah, and look at
And
Cal L.
because of go ahead.
And look at Cal L. The House of L. El.
Yes, sir.
Cal that
Yes.
we Moorish Silent
Yes.
Temple and Moors prior to us, and back
Yep.
in the antique times. Yeah.
Yep. 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 Matter of fact, I got this information from the Morris brothers themselves. This is who I got it from. This is where I got this information from. And then I just vetted it. I just did the science, got online, looked in some books, looked in some different things, and I saw more than a couple sources of this, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Now
that's
I'm not
deep.
saying this is exactly true, but you know what I'm saying? Please do us a favor, build with us. Do the knowledge to Nick and Jack. Come on back
Mm-hmm.
to the Real HD show and let us know what you found about that brother and his exploits. Jack Cavill is the name of Nick and Jack, and see if you come up with something. Come on back to the show. Let's chop it up. That's why we do it on the Real HD show. So another thing I wanted to get into was we wanted to jump into one of the melanated wonders of the world. World. I don't have an echo yet, bro. I'm gonna get one on. I'm gonna get one on. So we
Go
going
ahead.
all the way to the motherland. We going to Kemet. That's right. And we gonna talk about Amos. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Amos? Well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad you asked.
I'm glad
Am-
I'm presenting it.
the mathematical papyrus of Amos, also known as the Rhind mathematical papyrus, is officially the historical document that provides insight into advanced mathematical knowledge by the Kemetans. This dates back further than they say approximate. I'm gonna say it dates back further because the pyramids were up before 1500 BCE, so they had to have the math in tow before you actually build something. That would be kind of silly, right? You're gonna build something and then discover the math to build it
Mm-hmm.
after you done built it, right? You would have to have the math beforehand, right? Anyway, this manuscript is largely regarded as the oldest record of algebra, trigonometry, sequential math, highlighting Kemet's impressive geometry skills utilized in the construction of the pyramids. The manuscript illustrates that Cometan mathematics employed various methods to solve first order equations and demonstrated competence in dealing with quadratic equations. That's right, when you're finding the unknown variable. Let's take it back to high school. Furthermore, it reveals their understanding in numerical and geometric sequences as evidenced by equations, some as the sum of squares, x and y equaling 100. So we're talking about going to the second power. Y is 3/4 of x. So we're talking about proportions where x equals to 8 and y equates to 6. So now we're talking about Pythagorean theorem. Who and of course they give Pythagoras that honor when it's really Atmos, brother out of Kemet, who is recorded the first one to endure or introduce sequential geometry and calculus and trigonometry to the world. And I have some glyphs to show you so that you can see what I see. So you see that right there, bro?
Whoa.
Yeah,
Mm,
these
whoa.
are actual glyphs.
Mm,
So you see the 3, 4, 5 pyramid, right?
mm-hmm.
Or the 3, 4, 5 math equation, which
Right.
is which is what they call Pythagorean theorem.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Um, Contributions to commitments to mathematics were influential in shaping the work of subsequent mathematicians, including Pythagoras. Here we go, who is believed to have derived his principles following his studies with the Cometan teachers during his time in Kemet. This historical relationship corroborated by accounts from Greek historians such as Phosphor, Phosphorus of Sour, Herodotus, Thales. Notably, Kemet had a developed a profound grasp of this mathematics because Kemet was the baby, correct?
Hmm.
Am I
Hmm.
wrong, brother? Am I wrong, brother Godspeed? Wasn't Kemet the baby of
Well,
the ancient civilizations?
the baby, well, brother, man, I guess it is the baby. I never thought about it in that sense because Kemet has such a rich history that goes so far back. You know,
Yeah.
the one thing I knew about Kemet is that one out of a few things is that Kemet was really like, how can I say, in the old world, it was like the world's like metropolis, the world's
Yep.
library.
Yep.
You know, where even the already so-called enlightened came there to be further enlightened. You know, that's why the Greeks revered Kemet so much. You know,
Yep. Absolutely
even
right.
enough to invade it. And Amos. Now, I've only known of one Amos, and I didn't know this about him, what you're presenting right now. So you just enlightened me. But and correct me if I'm mistaken that there's more than that there's not more than one Amos. You know,
Yes.
I know about is
Absolutely,
actually
there is.
to Moses
Mm-hmm.
so much that I saw a documentary on the History Channel, and I taped it on a DVD back then because it was so big to me that on mainstream TV they actually spoke about this. So you had these Jewish scholars and these Jewish like I guess historians, right, who went over to Egypt and they were like, look, they came to the guards who were guarding a certain pyramid in Egypt, and these guards were there and they weren't letting people through. So they looked at the guards and said, and they well, first of all, they looked back at the camera at the audience, right, and said, look, we're gonna go there and we're going to ask them if they could allow us to see. There was something in there that belonged to Moses, and they wanted to see it so bad, right? So they said, "We're going to go, and we're going to tell them that we want to go in there and see these artifacts from Moses, like that." And they said, "Watch what happens." So they went to the guards and said, "Yeah, they had their cameras, and they said we would like to go in there and see, the artifacts of Moses, yada yada yada." The guards looked at them with their guns and said, "Listen, and they whispered back into the camera again, and they were like, "Now watch. When we go there and we say we want to see the artifacts of Ahmos, Watch them let us in. And they went. And Vic, they said, oh, yeah, we're here to see the artifacts of Ahmos. They let them in. It was crazy. I was just amazed. I was like, they knew what they were going to run into. And you see, that was them. And these are people of the Torah, right? So they're showing me that they know that Moses is there's nothing there's no Moses, there's Ahmos. The proper name is Ahmos. Actual Kwesi used to speak about it all the time. He actually showed the hieroglyphics on the wall with the very pale complected Hyksos running out of ancient Egypt, and he said that this was the original. This is the true Exodus, and it was the Hyksos, the precursors
Right.
to the that was running out of ancient Thut- Thutmose had a war going on with these people before he died, and then
Right.
Ahmose he picked up the struggle. So it was just interesting that these folks know their proper name and they just don't want to acknowledge it until it's to suit their purpose to be able to go in there and take their notes and their pictures or whatever. It's just interesting to me.
Well, you absolutely right because when I was in college, right, I had I was me and my brother, Adaris Fat. Shout out to you, Sev. If you listening, peace to you, bro. We took a Hebrew class together, and we found out that the linguistics don't lie, bro. You
Mm,
can lie about a lot of stuff, but the linguistics and the language of the people, for the people, by the people, it all traces back. And then when you start going through certain Semitic languages, and being that many Semitic languages before modern times, in ancient times, antiquity, did not use vowels, right? So now you're changing an entire language around once you institute the use of vowels, and you're making words into whole other types of meanings. And with the advent of the papacy and the papal orders,
I think your screen
they
is cut out
changed a lot
just
of
a
the,
second.
especially with like the Nicene Conference and St. James and all of the different ways that they manipulated the language, the Rosetta Stone, and the language has transferred and been manipulated so many times that you really can't trust the. I mean, you just have to do the knowledge to and dig deep enough to find out how it all connects. So you're absolutely right. And a lot of those names were surnames, bro.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? A lot of those names were surnames.
I think
Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah. If you get put backstage, bro, don't worry about that. It's been clicking on back and forth. I don't know what's going on real quick. I might have to elevate it a bit so that let me just make sure that what's everything is proper back here. But yeah, so what you're saying is correct about the name change and the
Mhm.
different the different ways that each were, I guess, predetermined based on language. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, man. But I wanted to bring that up as one of the melanated wonders of the world because,
Oh, that brother was a melanated wonder, that's for sure. Because I didn't even know all of this about him. I just knew the warrior side and the
right?
general. Didn't know about this.
Yeah, Amos is one of the melanated wonders of the world because he
That's,
brought the world civilized mathematics,
wow, that is deep.
an accurate way of calculating and accumulating, galvanizing order, law and order of the material universe, the material plane by which we live. And then, of course, to get abstract with the unknown, and then to put that in a computational order that's right and exact. That didn't come from Greece, like they suggest. Greece learned that from a brother named Atmos, and other scholars that were in Kemet and brought it to, you know, at the time, Troy or the Caucasus Mountains or the different, I guess, foundations of Greece and Troy. You know what I mean? What do they call it? They call it the island of Crete, which was supposed to be the start for these Greek people. Um, Y'all bear with us, man. Let us know. Put it in the comments right there, right in front of you. We are blasting off to 5 Facebook channels. We are blasting off to YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Mob Crush, Delo Live, Trovo Nation. We are everywhere you want to be. We are the Real HD Show. And that was the first and second part of our Ancestors and Elders Blueprint. All right, man. So let's get into it. Let's get into AAT, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wiser for a brand new you. Here we go. Yeah, man. So we are getting into our AAT report, the Healthier, Wealthier, and Wiser plan for a brand new you. Because we need cell power. A lot of us were robbed of it in the last couple of years, dealing with the pandemic, is how I like to describe it. And we need you guys to join us on this journey for health and wellness. You ready to ride? Godspeed. You ready to ride? Godspeed.
One, two,
I
one,
think
two.
you're on now.
Yeah, you can hear me. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the bumping you in and out of it, but we'll get through it. I'll just keep putting you back up. I'll check every couple of seconds. I don't
No
know why
sweat.
you're being bumped out like that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we're in the middle of an AAT report, trying to be healthy about what we say and what we do and how we live our lives, so we can live as long as possible for ourselves and our loved ones. We're gonna get real quick into a health uh, video about seafood
Hmm.
and some of the things going on with seafood. And we want you to take this serious and think about it every time you go to the supermarket. Vet it so you can be responsible every time you buy a piece of fish or a piece of seafood. Check it out, Real HD Show.
One bluefin tuna can sell for millions at the Toyosu market auction in Japan. Because of this price, there's a bustling enterprise of fake bluefin tuna.
And one of the reasons for that is that it's so easy to get away with the crime.
Scallops, lobster, and red snapper are also commonly faked. One analysis found that nearly 40% of fish samples tested were mislabeled.
Seafood fraud is perhaps one of the most fraudulent items that consumers are coming into contact with regularly.
It could be a restaurant passing off a $3 piece of tilapia as $17 red snapper. But there are also entire criminal rings smuggling fish across the world.
1 out of 5 fish caught is caught illegally.
And with them, billions of pounds of other animals that weren't the targets. But stopping these bad actors is incredibly difficult. So how did counterfeit seafood become so widespread? And why is it so hard to catch the criminals? We'll start with a popular ingredient in sushi restaurants, imitation crab. It's often made of surimi, a seafood paste filled with ground-up whitefish, like threadfin bream or Alaska pollock. That's the same kind in McDonald's Filet-O-Fish or in fish sticks.
있는 냉동 블럭 형태로 저희한테 입고되게 됩니다.
In this factory in Dongjin, South Korea, a machine shreds the surimi blocks into the texture of dough. Workers dump in salt, starch, sugar, and crab flavoring, often made from crab stock. Then this machine rolls the mixture into a log. Food coloring made from tomato and paprika gives it the distinct orangey red look.
이렇게 대게를 이제 쪘을 때 저희가 다리살을 빼고 나면은 그 위에 있는 색상과 가장 유사한 색상을 내는 게 목적이죠.
This is a totally legal product, as long as it's labeled imitation crab meat. But what's illegal is trying to pass off this imitation stuff as the real thing. Like the UK restaurant chain Frankie and Benny's did. It admitted that more than half of its crab bruschetta was imitation crab. Suppliers have been caught trying to label cheaper crabs from Asia as expensive ones, like these Maryland blues. Fishermen trap real Maryland blue crabs off the east coast of the US.
Population levels have been declining because of environmental water quality issues, especially in Chesapeake Bay.
Max Valentine is a seafood fraud expert with the conservation nonprofit Oceana.
And so they are being sold for astronomical prices. There's a very limited supply of them right now.
Once this meat is picked out of the shell, it becomes lump crab. Those lumps are baked into things like crab cakes.
So once it's been processed, it's really hard for you to tell what it is you're getting.
Federal law enforcement busted a Virginia seafood supplier for labeling 400,000 pounds of imported lump crab as product of USA. A 2015 Oceana study found that nearly 40% of Maryland blue crab cakes sold across Washington, D.C. and Maryland were mislabeled. They didn't contain that species of crab at all.
It would turn out to be swimming crab from Southeast Asia, and it's incredibly cheaper.
We gave Max some lump crab to understand how we can tell it's legit.
What's really great here is that the company has put a lot of information on the back of the package. So it's telling us that it's wild caught. It's giving us the genus and species name. We're able to tell that this is a blue swimming crab from Indonesia.
But if your package doesn't have all that info, buy your Maryland blue crabs whole and alive and get them in season from April to December. Bluefin is the most expensive kind of tuna because it's the largest, high in fat, and so rare. They're found across the North Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. In Japan, bluefin are sold at live auction here at Toyosu Market, the largest fish market in the world. Bidders like Takayuki Shinoda have about 15 minutes to check the fresh tuna for any nicks or scratches before the action starts.
基本は、皆さんやってる通りのことがあって、まず尾っぽ、尻尾の部分が切れてるので、そこの断面、あと腹ってお腹の部分がですね、裂いてあるので、そこを見て。
All right, we're gonna bring it back. We are going to bring it back. Okay. Just give me 1 second, family. I'm going to refresh this page, and then hopefully that takes care of some of our issues. Just 1 second, family. Y'all stay on.
Yep.
Peace. We should be back.
I'm here.
All right. Okay. What's going on, bro?
Yes.
Yeah, man. So what did you think, man? We're in the middle of an AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser for a Brand New You. And we are talking about mislabeled seafood that might not necessarily be healthy. I remember me and wifey was down in Maryland, and she had gotten food poisoning from some bad seafood.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and it was quite the ordeal. I'm not gonna talk about all of personal stuff that she went through, but it was crazy, bro. It was
That's very.
crazy. What do you think about is the well, I know we went, if you look back at our episode where we talked about the fisherman slavery, right? How about modern day slavery still exists, and it exists on the high seas. And a lot
Mhm.
of Asian cats, a lot of young Asian cats, a lot of melanated cats out of the Caribbean and out of Africa and out of different parts all over the world, just trying to seek labor and in a way to, like, kind of just get work. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They basically slaved the people for this fishing industry,
Mhm.
just to know that once it gets into these macro systems, if they can't give you the original product, they're gonna fake it.
Yeah, man. That's not cool, because suppose you have an allergy against, like, I don't know, swordfish, and you're palming off a swordfish like a piece of salmon,
Or vice
like,
versa.
or vice versa. Like, like, come on, you can kill
Yeah,
somebody over stuff like this.
right. Also, like, how they grind up
Uh,
cow parts and pig parts to make like sausages and stuff like that,
yeah.
and burger patties. You
Yep.
saw how the same minced fish is being used in, like, to make what do you call that? Fish sticks and fish
Right.
patties for Wendy's and McDonald's.
Right. It's practically
Crazy, man.
the worst. It's the worst parts of the remains of all types of different fishes.
Right, right,
You know, waste.
right. And
It's the waste.
they take a lot of chances.
I remember
Those
last
people.
year.
Go ahead,
Now
bro.
check this. Last year, I had made some falafel. Well, I baked some falafel. You know what I mean? Brought it from the store, warmed it up, ate that. Next thing I'm belching egg burp.
You're doing what?
I'm belching up egg.
Really?
Yeah, falafel. And this
Wow.
falafel on the label don't have egg in it.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
this is crazy.
Damn.
And I've eaten that brand many times before because I knew that I had a good run with it. There's no egg. But this one batch, one of them or two of them, three of them, who knows? Maybe the whole batch had some form of egg crossing through their factory. And man, every time I belched, it was like egg. You just,
Wow.
it was uncooked egg, man. It was just like,
So they were using the egg as like some sort of filler, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
some sort of like binding agent for however they mince the fish, right?
Right. But the thing is that though, I've used that brand before, that brand of falafel before. It never happened before. But I'm
Mm.
just putting the example, even though falafel is far different from fish, but I'm just showing that, hey, look, allergies and, allergies, these things are real. These things are very serious. That sort of thing had me down for like a day and a half,
Wow.
you know?
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, tap
So,
in.
so with
Hey,
life,
hey, hey,
life is gonna
audience.
put you get it.
I hear you, bro. Audience, tap in with us. Let us know. Do you have a seafood story worth sharing on the same level that me and Godspeed are talking about getting a bad batch of seafood? I'm sure there's a whole lot of people out there with those type of stories. Tap in, put it in the comments, or you can come on up. Here's the call letters below. You can come on up and tell us your
Mhm.
story about your crazy seafood. So let's go a little deeper, man, before we jump off the subject matter, man. So we're talking about health, and we're not only talking about the health of people who consume fish, because I was a
Mhm.
heavy fish eater at a certain point. I eat it sparingly, real sparingly now, because I got an allergy to most seafood. So fish is
Oh wow.
pretty much the only thing I can eat. I can't eat none of the shells, shrimp.
Right. Right.
I'm deprived of all that, right? Because of that fishy, salty taste, that seafood taste. It kind of
Hmm.
makes me, you know, it makes the food go the opposite way. Instead of going down, it goes the
Oh
opposite
wow.
way.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know, right? A lot of people say poor me, poor me. But now that I notice, and one of the favorite spots of my mom and my people and my family was going to City Island in the Bronx,
Yes.
you know, and eating at all of the restaurants and eating at the famous fried food spot at the end of City Island near the water, all that. And what do y'all say now that y'all know that this is all kind of like for the larger consumption and the larger mercantilism of the fish industry? They're faking fish. So how would you feel you taking your lady out for a special meal? You think you getting king crab and you think you getting king lobster and you getting crab. Or you
Mm.
think you getting this, but you really getting that.
Right. Not cool.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
cool at all.
And then you know how also you buying seafood perpetuates the seafood slave industry because you
Right.
keep the demand going.
Mm.
And then there was this thing called in India, right? India and Indochina. There was this disease, I believe it was called the G19. And it was a
Mm.
disease that bacteria, it was a disease of water and bacteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it's similar to COVID, but it was spreading around Indochina like a COVID, right?
Mm.
At the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they say it happened was they said one of the main reasons was not only did they get it through the spread of poor water treatment, the puddles in the water having a bacteria, the drinking water is having a bacteria that lead to the G19, I believe it was G12 or G19, something like that.
Mm.
And it would lead to like you having like sores and lacerations all over your body that materialized. It spread rapidly all over your body until it killed you.
Wow.
Well, well, um, so people are slaving. They're catching the G19 disease, all for the mercantilism. And so Gordon's fishermen could have big pockets and have a fisherman's empire.
Mm.
What we feeling about that?
Um.
Also, that Gordon's fishermen can appear in your supermarket freezer
Mm.
at $10 a pop, and you eating filler fish. Talk to
Mm.
us.
Mm. Yeah. Not good at all. Mm.
Right.
I mean,
Talk to us, family. Y'all listening. Put it in the chat. Let us know where you're at about the filler fish. You could be eating tuna. They'll bring you a cooked crab, but the meat inside is tuna. They'll bring you a brown crab like it's cooked,
mm.
but really they just stuffed it with tuna and resealed it.
And if you have an allergy to tuna and you're eating this crab,
There you go. There you go.
you're
There
gonna
you
think,
go.
what the hell is happening to me? Next thing you know, you got pimples busting out on your face. You got,
Right.
the
Your throat,
shivers
your
going up
throat
and
is
down your
closing
spine.
up, all type of shit.
Man, come on, not
Yeah,
cool.
man. And then and
And
then you're supporting this fisherman slavery industry that nobody seems to have a problem with. And all you got to do is go back to, I believe it was either September or October of last year, and you guys can see we did a two-part series on the fisherman slavery that goes on pretty much globally.
mm,
Melanated people at the heart of it, of course. Um, and go check that out. That was a real dope episode. Um, if you want to see that, and the first world nations, as they like to call them, they're the ones benefiting from all this fish, the fish empires, right? The fish
mm,
economies, right?
crazy.
Yeah, man.
They say nothing new.
Oh,
They
hey,
say nothing
Godspeed,
new
can you
under
do
the
me a favor?
sun.
Can you like turn up your volume on your phone? You sound real low, bro. Or your
Yeah,
or whatever device you're using.
yeah. This headset in particular, this my my regular headset busted, so I'm using a secondary one.
Oh, got you,
Yeah,
got
so
you. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, man.
I got the on charge, and hopefully I could get it working.
Yep. All right, man. So let's get to it, man. We here for the video on demand, um, our history, kind of show tonight. So we're gonna play the videos that you sent in to the Real HD show, the stories, the videos, how you choose to celebrate our history the way you do, and a lot of you all have popped out and really have showed out, and you gave me some really
I'm gonna
intriguing
try one.
videos. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, it might drop my call by accident, so you'll see me trying to get back in.
No, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. Whatever you got to do, I'll always put you back in if you go out. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go to Facebook really quick, share my screen, and my man Mecca. You know what I'm saying? He sent a video and posted a video on his page. I'm just waiting for it to pull up, right? And I thought it was rather interesting. So we're gonna take a look at that as soon as it pops up, and it's about being in a cult, right? And I thought it was kind of interesting. So I'm just gonna open it up, and then I'll share my screen, and then we can watch the video. Um, let's see.
Yeah, I'm back on.
Yes, sir. Hey, brother Mozzie, peace, bro. I hope everything's good. I hope you could tap in at some point and rock with us on the show. Um, all right, so here we go. I hope everybody can see that. I'm gonna open it up just a little bit more. And then we can go on in. So this is our first video on demand video that you guys wanted to see, or you guys sent us, so that we can get involved with it. Here we go. Real HD show, VOD for our History Month. Here we go.
Land of freedom, independence, and individual thinking. But sometimes an idea comes along that's just a little different. And before you know it, whoops, you're in a cult.
Honey, where are my eggs?
Dear leader says Joe Biden took them.
The signs are crystal clear. Learn how to spot them in How to Know You Are in a Cult. First sign, good leader. For a cult to work, it needs a good leader, and a good leader is never wrong. If something bad happens, like high gas prices, a recession, or even a plane crashing,
President Trump says it was Joe Biden.
he needs to be able to shift the blame. Second sign, don't question. In a cult, questioning the leader can be dangerous. The moment you think for yourself, poof, you disappear quicker than an aging wife. Third sign, loyalty wins. A good cult leader must reward loyalty. And if you're a billionaire, well, you can do whatever you want, even to the least deserved. Fourth sign, see things his way. Even if you saw things with your own eyes and ears and every shred of evidence points in one direction, if he says otherwise, see things his way. So how do you know you're in a cult? Simple. If your leader is never wrong, punishes his enemies, and lets his richest friends run amok, while convincing you that everything bad is someone else's fault, well, congratulations. You are in a cult. America.
All right, y'all. We back. Real HD show. That was from Mecca. That was one of his videos. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting based on the climate, based on the examples and the allegories that he's making to Trump and Elon. What'd you think of the video, bro? And then I guess we can get into a little bit more of it.
I thought spot on. Spot on, loosely based on reality.
Right.
You know? Yeah, definitely loosely based on reality. I mean, it's self-explanatory.
What if it was what if it was right on what reality is happening? What if it was like spot on?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm saying loosely, I'm being polite, but it is spot on.
Mhm,
It is spot on. Let's be real. Like,
mhm.
come on, man. It's like, to me, this one's a no-brainer. It's spot on. It's definitely spot on. Look at all the madness that's going on. Generals who you got like if I'm correct, you got a four-stripe general, a four-star general losing his job for a three-star general because he's supposed to be DEI.
Mm.
I mean, the man
Like,
is only the second, hey, look, keep it real. He's the second African American to ever make that rank or hold that position or whatever. And they knocked him out of position after he was doing his job, well, for a few years now. And they put in a person that's less credible than he is by rank. Let's be real. That's what
yeah,
that film is showing you right there. That film is just uh you're right. I'm being polite by saying loosely based. It's dead on based. It's just that when you look at that video, you say to yourself, nah, that could never happen here. It's
right.
not some third world country, or
Yeah,
so-called
man.
third world country.
A lot of tapping in, a lot of propaganda, Edward Bernays famous book, Propaganda, a lot of propaganda coming up. Like, do you think
Mhm.
that they could use a lot of the propaganda to massage situations that weren't necessarily DEI and make them, uh, you know, and kind of like massage them into that category?
They could, because look what they did, right? So much like and I'm just using these titles to be simplistic, for the examples, you know what I mean? So
Uh huh.
take a look at what we so-called African Americans. I can't help myself. I can't really claim that. I don't claim it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna speak the way I speak. Look at so-called African Americans. You know what I mean? They took they took the N-word and they made it a term of endearment through music and through media. And the only time that word is not a term of endearment is when somebody of a different racial background or whatever calls them that. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, exactly what you just said can happen and is happening. Look, DEI really, how could I put it? Like, okay, like how they use the word woke, you know,
Uh huh.
and they made woke a negative in mainstream Republican media. Woke is like a an insult word, like it's a word describing people who think they know it all but really know nothing at all, right? So with DEI is like, now DEI is okay. We know what DEI is originally framed to be and what purpose that it serves, right? But they took DEI and made it a term of just a terrible term now.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
they
it's
did
it's colloquial for it's a racist colloquial term, but it was really
now.
brought about through the Obama administration because they were kind of like bringing about all of the LGBTQ set asides, right?
Hmm.
And then they called that DEI when really a lot of the stuff that he canceled were kind of older set asides that came about as of the civil rights movement. You know what I mean?
Correct. That's what I was waiting for you to get to. Yeah, I was waiting for
Yeah.
you to get there. I was waiting for you to get there because, look, I don't always agree with political figures or whatever, right? But a person who I do like resonate with is Jasmine Crockett, right?
Right.
And she's pretty much really punched down hard on the current administration for what they're doing to the whole acronym of DEI and the program that it represents and what it stands for. And she acknowledges that it has lineage to the civil rights movement. Like civil rights, it's a byproduct of the civil rights movement. No matter what year they invented it, but it's a byproduct of that, right? So now it's like, whoa, they took DEI, and the way Trump and them is spinning it, they're spinning it like, all the MAGA people are spinning it like a negative thing. Like when it really stood for like qualified African Americans or minorities, whoever, getting their just, their just opportunity to really show their merit and show you their credentials. Now they're making it seem like, no, this acronym is for the people who are unqualified and got in because of the color of their skin, when it was really to prevent them from being passed over because of the color of their skin, right? Because you and I know they created the white status around 1691. We know that it's around then they created that white status to cause division amongst people who weren't seeing each other as, hey, I'm a white man, hey, I'm a black man, We know that back in the so-called slave times, well, no, this is the indentured servant times, actually. Back in those times, you had the Irish and you had the African, skilled worksmen who were mixing and blending and having conversations amongst each other, probably even hanging out with each other, right? Having family dinners together, putting their little money together to enjoy times in a broke period. You know what I mean? But they saw that, didn't like that. And it was like, yo, white man status, 1691. From that point on, they just continue to increase division by way of complexion, right? And now so that's why things like DEI come about, is because of that system, the way they created division and created obstacles for melanated people to thrive in this country that, quite frankly, we have indigenous roots here. But it was all to place a misnomer on us. All of this is the work of putting misnomers on us. And we wouldn't have needed programs like this if we had our true tribal names, you know what I'm saying, respectful of where we're from. We wouldn't need any of this stuff because nobody would be seen as unequal. It wouldn't have been all of that crap. The way they spin inequality anyway, you know what I mean? We don't want to get too crazy and eclectic about the word equality either. I'm not trying to do that tonight. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I could, right? But my thing is like, because of they're tagging misnomers on everybody, not just so-called black people, right? Took away our tribal names, made us all believe that everybody came on a slave ship, when I know of quite a bit of us have, but not all of us, right? So my thing is like, with all that said, DEI is put in place because of that, all right? The civil rights movement was put in place because of 1691 and before it, you know what I mean? So, can they take that and spin it and make it a negative thing? They've done it. And this is what, now they're mainstreaming it now. Now it's going to be mainstream as fake news, the phrase fake news, or make America great again. It's going to be as mainstream as that. DEI is going to be just another way of saying NIGGER.
So
really
based on
with a hard R.
So let me ask a question. Let me welcome Brother Mosley to the show. Peace, bro.
Hey,
bro.
How's it going, fellas?
Doing well, man. Doing well. We just saw this video that, of course, this is our VOD show, Video on Demand, and we are playing. We're trying to celebrate our History Month the way we want to, and I'm trying to, honor all of the good people, all of the good brothers and sisters that have sent videos in that are trying to wake us up or celebrate our history. Brother Mecca sent us a video about how the Trump thing is becoming more like a cult now. And it was a spoof on what are the signs are that you're dealing with a cult. And it was really interesting. Y'all go back and watch the rest of that. And y'all let us know. That video is really long. Brother Mecca got it on Facebook, but I'm sure it's on Instagram and it's making its rounds around the internet. Do you think that Trump is now, because of the way that his movements are going on, is he trying to create, with also his paymasters, do you think he's trying to create a cult-like atmosphere of old? What do you think?
I don't think Trump knows what the hell he's doing, but he just wants to be revered. Mm-hmm. He wants to, before he died, he wants to be the king, and he wants people to call him the king. And I think it's more of that than anything else. Now, I think that, things that are taking place and the corporate media that's behind him maybe creating the cult, but Trump himself don't know the first thing about creating a cult. I just think he is just a megalomaniac, narcissist, who wants everyone to And if you follow the history of Donald Trump, he appeared to be that person that always just wants you to say, Donald, you the man. You know what I mean? He's never happy with himself. And somehow he positioned himself, and I'll give him that. He positioned himself to be president. Part of it was through the Democratic machine, he thought he would rise, but then he realized, oh, shoot, I'm fighting against too many old, you can sort of say the blue bloods of America who ain't giving, they got more money than me, and they look at me and look down on him. He knew there was some crazy zealots out there, the Republican Party. They don't think. And he's like, that's hey, what they say, the road less traveled.
Yes, sir.
So that's what he took.
Yeah.
And so now he's at a point where, he came in the first time and it didn't go as well as he thought it would. Now he's there a second time, and he's listening to all the idiots, who say, cut this, cut that, cut that, cut this. And they really aren't thinking about the general health and welfare of the entire country. You whether you like it or not, Black folks is part of America, and we don't have to, but they don't have to like it, and they ain't got to think about us. They still got to remember that they are the dominant group in this country, and when you start making the various cuts that you're going to make, it's going to affect them.
Right.
It's not going to affect. We know what's going to affect us. We're prepared, and we're preparing ourselves, and we've lived under tyranny. We lived under, living hand to mouth, trying to survivalist world. So we'll get it by, at old school saying, by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
But they don't understand how to do that. They really don't. And so, when you got, all these cuts in government, but that's just part of it. When you start cutting into that, it's now going to spill over into the private sector, and we know the private sector, as much as they say they need people, they ain't trying to hire nobody. They're holding out to try and find some AI that will actually help them. But it goes to show you too.
Hey, you stole my thunder, man. That was going to be one of my follow-up questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry, man.
Are they clearing the deck for AI? You know what I mean?
Well, I would say no. They're clearing the deck to show that they've after you cut all this government waste, we got enough money now. We're lean and we're mean. So this money that we saved is the money we're going to cut and give to rich people.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been saying that, and people are like, well, I don't care if rich people get it, because once again, they have that cycle, what's Bobby Wright's book? Psychopathic racial personality, man. They're focused on blackness.
Yeah.
When we talk about DEI, Obama created DEI through his executive order. The reason why he created that was to make sure he took care of all the queer nation, the alphabet soup.
Right.
That's strictly why he built it. He knew he couldn't talk about, because Bush had all but put the nail in the coffin on affirmative action. Yep. So let's go ahead now. I got to take care of my constituents who happen to be the LGBTQ, the alphabet group. And knows when you look at, and when they talk about DEI, what's interesting is white people in America got tired of seeing every time they talk about a diversity hire, California white police chief, it was a white person, the white queer person.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look all across the country and they talked about DEI and they were showing where there's a problem with DEI, it was always some white queer person that was in the position. So they're like, whoa, we got to change the narrative, man. We got to change the narrative. We got to somehow, make this synonymous with being black, as opposed to anything else. But the reality is DEI just means white and queer, white women and queer. It's just that simple. When they occupy more than almost approximately 87 to 90% of all DEI positions and hires, how you going to say it's something black? And if people had some sense, and we were thinking people in this country, when those planes crashed and they kept trying to dog out DEI and make DEI synonymous with being black, there's only but 3% of the the FAA and air traffic controllers that are non-white.
Yeah,
3%.
Good point.
Nesby said it was only 4% actual melanated people was benefited through DEI.
Right.
4%.
So we know this, and so and what they've done to us, man, is they got everybody now running around. We're gonna boycott, and there's supposed to be a boycott somewhere this week, and then they got one scheduled for another week, and they're gonna hit on what the hell that got to do with anything? Because here's what's happening is we trying to act like we're doing something so that we can justify going back to these stores because we ain't got the fortitude or the discipline or the true this is how I feel and we don't have a true belief system such that we will say, you know what, I ain't going to Target no more. Because they love going to Target.
This is
Black folks we have been created such that all we are is conspicuous consumers, man, engaging in consumers who engage in conspicuous consumption. That's all we do, man. And we can't figure a life without it. That's why they talk about a 1-day boycott or a 1-week boycott. So you either gonna buy the stuff beforehand or you're gonna buy the stuff after the boycott. You still gonna be shopping there.
They still gonna get their money one way or the other.
Yeah, because you still gonna go.
That's a damn good point that you raised. I hadn't even thought about it that way. Yeah. The only way I thought about it is that it never follows through. That's the only part of it that came to mind. The frontal part of my frontal lobe is that, they never follow through on that crap. For many decades, we've been seeing people every now and again, let's boycott this, let's boycott that. And foolish ass me, I would sit there and do it. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, yo, you just looking, there's nothing changed. You might park in the parking lot to see, and next thing you know, you just see your people in droves. You know what I'm saying? Still going in. So it just
they
be
can't
like,
wait
I
to
just
get
gave
back
up
in
on
there.
that. I actually gave up on that. So when I saw the Christian minister talking about it on such a big platform, I was like, whoa, I've never seen them do that before.
And you know who
So I said,
who they following. And that's the other question I have. Why the hell is everybody following Mr. Perm himself, Al Sharpton? Come on, man. Al Sharpton out of all people going to talk about a boycott, and we're going to follow that. Who the hell follows Al Sharpton?
The artist formerly known as.
But here's what's funny. Some people ain't really feeling Al and don't mess with Al, but now that he's calling for the boycott, he's somehow been elevated.
Right.
Al Sharpton's been taking money, man, from the other side for the longest, man. And it's well known and well documented.
Yeah, they speak about how he gave up the Panther chapter in New York back in the day.
But even when you one of the big things that's going on is that over the years they've been trying to privatize education. You know how much money Al Sharpton has gotten to be able to speak against public education and talk about school choice and vouchers? That's nothing but privatization and another term. And Al Sharpton's been their mouthpiece. He ain't got no real reason why he does it. He can't give you no real reason. He can't give you no data, no research studies, nothing. Only thing he can talk about is, we want to give parents choice and we want our people to have the same choice as other people do. Al is bought, sold, and paid for, and his suits have been pressed for him.
Hey, man,
he ain't got no plan for nothing.
Hey, man, let's get into another video on demand. We're gonna get into Jazzy. She sent us a joint, a Black History factoid. Let's check her joint out, and we can build on that. Because I mean, look, that way leads in the way, and we'll be there all night talking about Al Sharpton and his self, his permed out
For
self,
real.
looking half crazy. Let me pull this up. Nope, not gonna do that. Hold on. Let's get out of here. Share the screen, and then we be in business. Okay. Let me know if you can see that at home. You sure can. So let's get it going.
Sound.
Yep.
The Black Panther Party. But what you may not know is how the political group shifted healthcare in the US to be more community based.
Our government was not going to provide health care. So we were going to provide health care for the people.
The Black Panthers opened free medical facilities, created the very first nationwide screening program for sickle cell anemia, a blood disorder, and they even helped establish a form of acupuncture that's still in use today.
We spent a lot more time serving the people than we did protesting or defending ourselves from the police.
So why isn't the Black Panthers' healthcare activism more widely known? Well, it may be by design.
History is written by the victors. The Black Panthers are not writing the history of the Black Panther Party.
To understand what prompted the Black Panthers' foray into healthcare, you first have to understand why it came into existence. Here's how co-founder Huey P. Newton explained the group.
We are bound to transform society and erect a system where people will receive justice.
The Panthers formed on the heels of the Civil Rights Movement, a time when the push for racial equality and equity divided the U.S. 1965 was a pivotal year that helped spark the Panthers' creation, according to former Black Panther Billy Jennings.
You had the murder of Malcolm X in February. Also, you had the signing of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And also you had the Watts riot happen in August of 1965, along with the Selma March in 1965.
Then in the fall of 1966, a white police officer ran down and killed an unarmed teenager in a historically Black neighborhood in San Francisco. It was a breaking point. The community rioted. The governor declared a state of emergency, and the next day, National Guard soldiers marched with bayonets through the streets. This was the fertile ground in America's landscape that prompted Newton and Bobby Seale to found the Black Panthers Party for Self-Defense in October 1966. The Black Panthers' initial mission was to police the police. Panthers followed patrol vehicles ready to defend their communities with force if they felt the need arose. This is the part of their legacy that the world remembers. But the physical self-defense was a fraction of the Panthers' objectives. As their movement grew, so did their vision. Dr. Tolbert Small was a physician to the Black Panthers, though he wasn't a party member.
They were not just people in black jackets carrying guns. They were interested in actually doing something for the community.
The Black Panthers focused more on what they call survival programs, things like food assistance, free education, free legal aid. And one of their top priorities was free community health care.
All right, because that's a long clip, but we're gonna bring it back and talk to our brilliant panel. Because I'm sure we were talking a lot about DEI and the tentacles of it, the history of it, and the kind of conflation that is being used right now to attack any type of programming that was put in as a result of the civil rights movement. And can this be also can this kind of wave of just throw the baby out with the bathwater energy that the new administration is using, do you think this will damage the community-based programs that our people installed that have become hallmarks of the country, like free healthcare? That was like you said, like we said before, that was a not only a Black Panther initiative, but they were ones that really, pushed that forward and made that a national calling, right? And then of course it led to things like free lunch, free breakfast, nationally put into school systems and so on and so forth. So can all the good work, even the work of Robert Smalls, when he was in the 19th century, when he decided to make taxation a representation for free education for children of all kind, especially starting with those in South Carolina. So essentially I'm asking, do you think this DEI wave of throwing the baby out with the bathwater can and will erase some of the community-based efforts that we've changed America with? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it is. But out of every tragedy, comes great opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity will be there for us to actually really look and develop something that is long term and sustaining. Because
Yes.
right now, when you look at the way a lot of these programs are, I mean, we got to be certain things we got to do is we have to be honest about certain things. Though I don't like the fact that Doge is going through there doing what they're doing. People have called for an audit of the federal government for years, and no one's ever done it. Even when Clinton in his roundabout way of doing a general audit, and the way he did it was basically they would have to get lean because they want to cut people. So a lot of waste would end up going away in that way, so to speak. So, it will cause us to eventually, I'm hoping and thinking, to do what we've done in the past. But we got to remember, we can't do free. Even if you got to pay $1, we got to have an economic component on how this stuff gets paid for. And the other thing is, you can't continue to exploit everything that exists. That's the fundamental problem with America is every new business opportunity is an exploitive opportunity for maximum outrageous profits.
Mm.
When you start looking around the world right now, people are building better, stronger, faster than America. Chinese and Asia, throughout Asia, they're building through Asia in ways that we can only dream about building.
Yep.
And one of the reasons why is because they have a national policy that works with business, saying we got to make sure certain things that we build for the people. And what's happening is they're doing it. But in this country, it's always about how many people can we not hire to do the job and still get the job done? And how can I make the maximum amount of money? And I got to burn it up until I can't use it no more. So, the medical field, do every doctor needs to make, $1 million a year? No. If you need, I would go as far as to say, like in Portugal and places like that, doctors do live well. They don't live outrageously well. You don't find a doctor who's doing, general cardiothoracic work, and he's making $1.6 million a year. He might be getting $300,000, but that still gives you a good life. So we have to build it such that there's parity, so to speak, and that it's not built with in a more capitalistic. And I don't have a problem with capitalism. It's just that we have to, this conscious capitalism, if I can ever say that, to use that term, because they're doing that around the planet right now.
Mm.
They're taking care of millions of people, and they're doing it in a way that is, you can sort of say, cost conscious. That's we're thinking about it 50 years down the road as opposed to, what it's going to look like at the end of the year and what my dividend's going to look like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Godspeed, man, got a question for you. Do you think it's too late for us to hallmark some of these substantial community-based things that we've made a tradition of in the United States, that the dominant society has borrowed from us, turned into a national hallmark within fields of industry and education? Is it too late to hallmark those things so that we can have agency and we can apply ownership in this new, I guess, hegemony tug of war that they're having globally, nationally, and with BRICS and all of that? What's your thoughts on that? Is it too late for us to patent the things that we contributed to this country that are, hallmarked? What do you think?
Well, hey, good question. We are the creators of so many inventions.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot the number of inventions that we created because I was messing around with it like a couple months ago. But I forgot the number. I didn't lock it in my mind like I should, but I mean,
Infinite number.
we have ownership of certain inventions, which is a good thing, right? But like, so with that said, we do own some inventions. With that said, um, I'm gonna be an a-hole about it. Look what they did with breakdancing. It went to the Olympics. It wasn't even called breakdancing. None of our and this is on a very minor scale, I know, right? But I didn't see Crazy Legs or KRS One or you know, any of these people over there judging and being the symbolism, the logo, as we call Jerry West, the logo for the NBA. None of these people were the logos for that situation. No Curtis Blow, none of that, you know? So that to me is a microcosm of a macrocosm of a struggle that we deal with, period, with things that we create. You know, we don't go through the legal steps. And then some of us who know about the legal steps, as far as like trademarking and all that kind of stuff, we hit up in the pockets at the time we should be doing it, you know? And
Are we
next thing you know,
wasting?
we lose control of it very quickly.
Hey, are we wasting?
Mm-hmm.
If we have the mouthpiece that we do through pop culture,
Mm-hmm.
pop music, and what have you, are we wasting that as a platform to galvanize those things?
You know
Because
what?
that's
Mm-hmm.
what everybody had a problem with what Kendrick did. Kendrick basically got up there and, you know, was advocating for us in his way.
Mm-hmm. In his
So
way,
are we
yeah.
wasting
Yeah.
an opportunity to send a message, being that we do have the world's ear from a pop
Mm-hmm.
culture standpoint? Are we
You know
wasting an
what?
opportunity to claim these community things that we've hallmarked into American traditions
Oh, I see what you're saying now. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
because we
I see
have
what
the
you're saying.
ear of the world from a pop culture
Yes, we are.
standpoint?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And the thing is that, hey, look. This just goes back to a bunch of frustrations you and I have in particular, right? In terms of like, we have not yet, we weren't able at this juncture to put some kind of material out there, some kind of record, some kind of like, you know, collection of songs that we've all written and so on and so forth, to put our word out in the world. So the thing is that the ones who have the power and the means don't have the vision, or don't have the experience to have the vision that say like you have, say like I have, from an artist perspective, you know, like how Public Enemy had, and they had the power and they had the platform to do it, and they did it to the best of their abilities. They set the example on what we could have been doing moving forward, right? But now we're looking at others who have that, but don't have that vision because they lack that school of thought. Then, you know. So yeah, we are not on purpose. I don't think. I just think that we don't, you know. And when I say we, I mean the ones in position to be able to do something like what you're describing. They just don't have that background, you know.
Right, right,
You got Sexy
right.
Red you got Sexy Red doctoring photos of Martin Luther King. I mean, this is what they got. This is their background.
Yeah, yeah. Lack of commitment, lack of mission, lack of education, just
Mm-hmm.
lack. And it's explosive to a point of almost being sad that you're wasting those opportunities to
Yeah.
springboard and soundboard these things that we could hallmark and claim as our own. And like Brother Mozzie said, charge a fee for it. Hey, we was all over the free lunch thing. Break bread. We was all over the inoculations in school. Break bread. We was all over this. We was all over that. Break bread. That was our situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You want us to create 9, 10 songs saying how y'all cheated us out of this opportunity for your little babies to run around and look at you like you some sort of thief, crook, and ultra criminal because you don't want to pony up. You know, they already giving them a hard way to go. You ever see a white teenager talk to his parents? Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
You want to pull a belt out for him. You know what I'm saying? You know? But I want to check this out, right? Because Did either of you see that movie, Late Night with the Devil?
No, never heard of it till this moment.
Yeah, it was a recent movie that came out, and it's supposed to be about the whole, Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, David Letterman, the rise of the late night talk shows
Okay.
in the late 70s, early 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this dude made a Faustian deal with the devil, right? Because Mozzie, they went through the whole they got into the whole what do you call that? The California retreat piece, Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be a Bohemian Grove representative who made a Faustian pact, and his show became magnanimous and super big and super successful. And then his wife, died from cancer. So I guess that was supposed to be like his Moloch type of sacrifice. You gave up your wife for your fame and success. But what was interesting about the show is that he had a guest on the show. And one of the guests on the show, you know how back in the day, they used to have like ventriloquists and people that did all kind of odd crap. Well, on this particular one, this was supposed to be like some psychic, some paranormal psychic, and she brought a girl on. And then the girl went into a trance and started, acting like she was talking to the devil. And like the devil was like possessing her, all of the like kind of the ways that the horror genre loves to spike fear and horror into people for money. So this girl's talking to the devil and she's spitting all these things. And the woman who was the paranormal psychologist was trying to like talk her out of the trance that she was in. And then y'all, guess what she was doing, man? She was saying the name of all the gods of melanated antiquity. That she was possessed by all of the gods of ancient antiquity for melanated folks.
Impossibility. Get a load of that.
Because once you like the names that she called out, I'm a Talib like that. I'm a nerd like that. So as soon as she start calling out ancient names, I got my phone out. And I'm looking up these names. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what is that? What is that? So we're talking Phoenician gods, we're talking Assyrian gods, we're talking Babylonian gods, we're talking Kemetan deities, and these are all of the people that she's saying, get out of her, y'all are the devil, right? And then check this out. So that's the pop culture on that end, right, Mozzie? Now let's check this out. Paula White, right? Didn't Trump just hire her to be some sort of like religious spiritual advisor to the White House or some crap like that?
I'm not even sure.
So this chick, remember the chick that was on the thing and she was in the Republican convention and she was like, the ancient gods of Africa, they're coming and they're going to make you president and they're going to shata, bata, rata. Do you remember she was going on this like little binge?
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember that.
They got to make up their mind. What's it going to be? You gonna call on melanated gods to help Trump become president, but then you gonna put it in a movie that African gods is possessing this white chick.
That shows basically the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
It shows they try to be slick. And it just shows that the nature of the slickness that they have in them, man. And you got some people too who would, they'll use anything to make some money.
Right.
But we knew part of her doing that is to put so if I were to say that around somebody, mention one of that, they start to get nervous because they saw it in the movie and it's a devil.
Right.
And then 9 times out of 10, what do they do from there? They shut down and they don't listen to a word you got to say, especially if they're a good Christian who happen to watch the movie. Because, good Christians, as soon as anything that sounds long, if it ain't Greek or Latin, everything else is it's from hell. Because the devil is a lie.
Big facts. Big facts. Big
Yeah,
facts.
man. So I wanted to play this clip, right? Because Cheikh Anta Diop, the famous scholar, author, historian, he done checked a lot of folks on some nonsense. He would have laughed at that because he would have saw the hypocrisy like we saw the hypocrisy. So one thing is cool, right? That in Senegal, in Dakar, Senegal, they opened up a museum, and I don't know if you brothers are familiar with it. If you are, please talk to it. It's called the Museum of Melanated and African Civilizations.
And you know why? Why they use the term melanated? Because
Why?
he went to UNESCO
Uh-huh.
to years ago to prove that there was. I forget what they were trying to prove, but he went there to prove that the melanin in the skin, and he basically was trying to prove whatever it was done by melanated people. And he did that through talking about the composition of melanin that was found in the archaeological finds that they had.
Yeah.
And they said he brought somewhere like 1,000 pieces of data to prove that point.
Check this out. This is the video of it. Check it out real quick, and we'll come back on the other side and talk about it real quick.
Bienvenue au Musée des civilisations noires. Je m'appelle Fatima Bintou Rassoulsi et je suis assistante curatoriale.
Let me start that again. That was a good one, but that one was the one that was in Senegalese. I wanted to get y'all to one in English. Hold on. Okay. All right, I got it. All right, so that was just a short one. One of the reason why I showed that is because, I don't know if you brothers have been reading it, but they've been talking about a lot of African nations are calling back the artifacts that have been procured by or stolen by France and Belgium and all of the European nations, so that they can have a proper home at the Melanated Museum of African Civilizations. And they even covered the melanated civilizations of this landmass also, and the Iroquois Nation, a bunch of them, the 16 Algonquin tribes, all of them. It's really dope. Y'all should check it out. Y'all go online and check that out at home, and y'all let us know. Come back, let's have a higher discussion about it. What do y'all think about that, man? Do y'all think that is a in a climate where we have so much backbiting between the folks of the African diaspora, what they're doing there, can that be kind of a safe haven or something to actually develop and build upon so that we can give ourselves a little bit more agency, a little bit more, development and so on, so that we can move these things in a proper perspective. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think of and also that museum is supposed to be intellectually forward on the tenets of Brother Shaq Anta Diop. So all his research should be reflected in everything that they bring into that museum.
Yeah, so you're saying you asking if I think that it's a worthwhile venture, them going to, through the troubles and through the communication lines to get, artifacts sent back that belong to the land over there?
Yeah. I mean, just period. Like if there's an artifact that belongs here, but we could safeguard it there and it could get its proper due over there, would that be a better, you know what I mean?
I think one of the problems we may have to deal with is I ain't popping no bottles in Senegal. I pop bottles in Dubai.
Ho.
Okay. You gotta say more.
You gotta break that down because I'm lost
You
on
gotta
that
say
one.
more.
We travel for pure
Oh, okay.
fun and entertainment. We ain't traveling for no real to really learn and experience the world and what it was and what it's like and what it's about. Dubai, and then I'm bringing, people are like, what is he talking about? Dubai is artificial.
Yeah.
When you're talking about going to Senegal and you're seeing historical artifacts of people that might even be related to you, blood related, it takes on a whole different meaning, man.
Right.
And one of the things that's happened to us is we've gotten so superficial, taking these kind of trips to Senegal and others, hopefully will allow us to be a much deeper people all over again. And we can then see through and open up that third eye and see through all the BS around us and really allow us to then, start to be operating in accordance with one another. And so we can really start thinking correctly and solving our problems. And people are like, well, how can you get that off of, just going to Senegal and seeing this? You'd be amazed that when you take these, some of these tours back to Africa and other areas where we've been, and you see the positive things that we've done, not the negative, the positive.
Right.
And then you at home, like Richard Pryor. Remember when Richard Pryor had his show and everything else? He said, I remember one of the clips that I saw. He was like, man, I was in Africa and I was just walking down the street, and I was chilling, going to see my homeboy. He said, and he heard a siren. He said, I started running, then I stopped and was like, shit, there's niggas everywhere. You know what I mean? He said, then he had a certain, although it was in his whole comedic thing, but he's like, man, I had a whole new, damn. I'm powered up now. I'm energized. I feel good about myself. And he said, I just kept walking like, damn, well, that's just the other black dude over there. But, we all black. But it gave him a certain kind of a source of energy, a source of calmness, a source of kind of like, and I can't find a word for it right now. He had some clarity. And that's where that clarity came from. Him being over in Africa and being around black folks.
Right.
I know you've been to Ghana, but and West Africa, and they always want to take you to, the doors of no return. I don't want to see that shit. That is probably one of the most horrible things alive, man. I don't want to see that. I want to see the other things that we've done. Show me all the positive stuff that we did, all the great stuff we did. Don't send me, you know what I mean? We got to quit showing, and this is just how I view it. We got to quit showing the destruction and the bad things that happened to us. I don't mind us talking about them, but I don't need to visually see it. You telling me about it, I'm good with that.
Let's go to Timbuktu. Let's go to Shanghai. Let's go to the pyramids in Arizona.
Thank you.
Underground, where you see all of the ancient markings. Let's go to the Easter Island. Let's see the big old 17-foot heads, with locks coming out the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Let's get into that. Hey, we're gonna do a part 2 to this, man, because I wanted to take y'all to. I wanted to talk about Nanny out of JA. I wanted to talk about Treme down in Enola. I wanted to talk about Guangzhou, Chocolate City in China. So we're gonna do another part to this.
Guangzhou is out of control, man.
I wanted to talk
It
about all that.
kind of
There's a
that's
lot of
that.
melanated people in Guangzhou right now dealing with some things, and we got to check in. Because the last time we heard about anything with melanated people in China, it was during COVID when they was trying to kick everybody out of Asia if you was
Mm-hmm.
melanated. You know what I mean? Brother,
Mm-hmm.
you remember that? All the brothers and sisters were scrambling.
Oh,
It was in the
absolutely.
news.
Can't forget that.
And everybody around the world was like, "Nah, that ain't right. That ain't right. Don't kick them out." And they tried to like wag the dog,
Yep.
like the whole COVID-19 thing came from them.
Yep.
When
Right.
Yep.
we know that NIH
They
nonsense. We know what that's about.
was about to get their butts kicked over here. They were about to get their butts kicked over here. I remember sitting inside the lunchroom, and I would see an Asian brother walk in, and as soon as he walked out, he was like a doctor or whatever. And as soon as he walked out of that lunchroom, you hear people saying, "Yeah, the Wushan, disease that came over here." And I was like, "Whoa, yep." Talking to me like I'm agreeing with them, and I'm just sitting there listening to them like, "Wow, look at that, crazy."
Yeah, man.
But then you look on the next side of the coin, they were kicking our people's out. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, "Whoa, nuts!" I'm over here trying to, I'm over here defending a coworker because they judging him on racism or prejudice, more so to be exact. And and quite frankly, our people, our diaspora people and whatnot, was getting treated wrong over there, just based on the same hatred that they were being treated wrong over here on. So I was just like, wow,
Yeah, man.
it's crazy.
So y'all heard Brother Luck. We gonna get into it next time we come on the show. So y'all make sure y'all like, share,
Yep.
subscribe. Make sure y'all comment on anything that y'all found interesting or enlightening or y'all have a ponder about. And make sure you guys turn on your notifications so that every time we have a Real HD show, you guys can tap in with us and we can have a higher discussion. So for Brother Mozzie, Brother Godspeed, myself, I'm gonna say peace. Y'all walk with power and y'all tune in on Monday. Support the rest of the shows coming on all week long. We got a slate of 4 shows coming on. I'm hoping at some point we'll have shows on 7 days a week that everybody can get into and really that suits your palate, and let's grow and develop and be better as a people, man. So peace, and I will check y'all out on Moon Day. Peace, y'all. Love on each other.